graphics.
Can we have forward compatibility lab? Why not?
Did we figure out how many copies the game's going to fit on yet?
I think, what, 9?
No,
It's okay, we'll just switch the discs out. Oh, that seemed like a good question. I've never seen you wince like that.
I'm censoring things over here for safety's sake. There's the how many floppies will the game fit on question.
That would be 9.
Any decisions about the game engine?
No, there was something else. That's kind of...
Not yet.
Not yet.
You tell me, Matt.
We're exploring several options right now.
We're exploring several options right now.
What exactly?
Is she watching it?
Exactly is Obsidian's involvement?
Well,
They're
there's
looking at
me. I'm designing a region of the game. And then in Exile is going to look at some of the tool sets that we use at Obsidian for our titles and just seeing what they can leverage.
All right, let's give poor Chris a break. He'll answer more of your questions later on in the evening.
And 3 more.
Okay, so I introduce. Okay, so I'm back here, and so this is Nolan Bushnell, and for those of you who don't know who he is, I was just saying that usually when I tell people I make video games, they go, "Did you make Pong?" Which is always the answer is no. He's the only guy that goes, yes. And also, so he founded Atari and Chuck E. Cheese and a bunch of other ventures I'm not all familiar with. But anyway, so if you guys, we queued up a few questions for him. Why don't we shoot?
Yeah. It's, Lenway Cryatan wants to know, you have extensive experience with video games. What, as a founder of Atari, do you think of the crowdfunding and what's happening with Wasteland?
I think it's fantastically, gloriously wonderful. And understand that what it separates true genius from marketplaces is all the gatekeepers that wear suits. And, you know, you don't realize how much creativity is flushed down the rat hole based on people with no vision but have the ability to write a check. Here you can match people with vision, people who can write a check with creativity, and I think it's going to create some magic.
I say hallelujah to that. One big hallelujah, for sure. Agreed.
All right, we've got another question from Bill Dugan, another old Interplay guy that worked on the original Wasteland. Just want to know how has the act of changing money changed for entrepreneurs in the last 40 years?
Well, first of all, venture capital almost didn't exist. There were a few little things going on in Silicon Valley, but I didn't even know the name venture capital when Atari was started. And we did it the old-fashioned way. We funded ourselves. I put in $250, and so did my partner, and we went off to conquer the world. And we figured out how to fund a company with stealth and guile. and we didn't get a penny of venture capital until we were about 40 million in sales. And so, you know, it was a different era. Would we have raised venture capital if we could? Absolutely. Because we took a lot of shortcuts because we were just constantly out of cash. And they say, well, you know, weren't you making money? Yeah, we were profitable, but we were growing so much faster than our cash flow would support. So it was tough.
I can imagine. So if you could travel back in time, what would you tell the 40-year-ago version of yourself?
Don't sell to Warner. That's the first one. And then a whole bunch of others.
Of all the various projects you've been involved with, both in video games and outside of video games, what is your biggest passion project? What is the thing that you've created that you're the most proud of?
Oh, my 8 children. I think integrating your work life with your family is the biggest blessing and the best thing you can possibly do with your life. And I think that my kids have had fun with the businesses I've been involved with, and I've had fun with them. The businesses are all fun, but I'm always most in love with the one that I'm working on currently. I mean, my rearview mirror doesn't work very well.
Well, that's actually the next question from some of our Facebook fans. They want to know, what are you doing now? Is there anything you're doing now that you want to talk about?
I am fixing education in the world. I currently have some alpha software that is teaching 10 times faster than a classroom. We believe that when we're completely done, we will be able to teach all the academics of 4 years of high school in about 6 months. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that kids are going to get out of high school in the 9th grade? No. But I believe that every kid that graduates from high school should know how to program a video game, should know a little bit about entrepreneurship, should know a lot about economics, should know a lot of art, should have these real-world skills of marketing on eBay, of being able to really understand the dynamics of the world. To have a kid drop out or even just not go to college, he doesn't have a lot of job skills. And I believe that everybody has to be a fully contained person by the time they graduate from high school, able to support a family and get rich. I mean, Jobs, Wozniak, Michael Dell, I mean, the list goes on of the people who really did pretty well without a college education. And I think we have to understand that.
Do you have any ambitious plans?
No. Well, actually, as you can tell, I'm getting a little older, so the runway is getting short. But I figure fix education, then you got to go to world hunger, and then you go to world peace. No. But some people say if you fix education, the other two take care of themselves.
No, that's right.
No, that's true too.
Yeah.
Get rid of ignorance.
So, watch Brain Rush. Brain Rush is the place. And if you want to get a sample, go into wordplay.com and you will learn Spanish vocabulary faster than you ever thought possible.
All right. So when you see what the state of the industry is like today, and you see what An Exile and Brian has gone through with this Kickstarter experience, what do you think about the state of the modern game industry?
I love it. I'm confused by some of it. Like, I still do not understand Zynga games. I mean, I find myself playing them and hating myself for it, but it's one of those things that that's confusing to me because there's way too much work required to do them and not enough fun. But that's neither here nor there. I love the game everywhere mentality, whether it's iPad, iPhone, integration of gameplay into the world through augmented reality. And I believe that in the next 5 years, we're going to fix the artificial reality motion sickness problem, and we can get back into going where we really need to go, and that's to Westworld.
We talk about Westworld all the time.
Have you read Ready Player One?
Loved it.
Yeah, I thought it would be something you'd enjoy.
What about Rimney?
What's it? I haven't read that.
Neil Stevens' new one.
Oh, good. Okay.
Great fun.
All right, now we're going to have to start the An Exile book club.
Well, I'm so happy that Hunger Games was as close to the book as the movie was, and I can hardly wait for the third book, which I thought was the best part of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, it was very intense. Yeah.
Taking over the Capitol. I mean, God, that's great stuff.
You just did a spoiler. He was kidding.
Many people are asking if Nolan can be an NPC in Wasteland.
Yeah, I'm pretty wasted. The thing that's so neat about these virtual worlds is, let's just do it. Let's have fun. Let's put in some rotten Easter eggs. I mean, it's an alternative work. Whenever I think of Wasteland, and go to Burning Man, I think, oh yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
You guys been to Burning Man?
I have not.
Got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the imagery.
It's
It's
wonderful.
very Mad Max meets,
Very Mad
meets
Max.
the hippies.
In fact, they've got a Thunderdome there. You know, where people are hanging over it. You know, 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. You know, they're just using Nerf bats.
It sounds like my kind of thing.
Ryan, do you have any questions for Nolan?
Anyway, no, those are all great.
All right. Well, thank you very much for sitting down and chatting with our fans. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll let you have a hot seat for a few minutes.
Yeah. I'll
I
come back
want
a little
to
bit.
add one thing. We're doing, I'm doing some help with Atari right now, and we've got this Pong contest that is really going to be fun. And, just do some really weird, wild stuff. It's a simple game, but what should it be today? And that would be really a fun thing to do.
Pong is what got me into this business in the first place.
It should be a first-person shooter, right?
Of course.
Duh.
With Angry Birds.
We couldn't
red
market
boots.
we couldn't market the game in the UK as Pong. You had to change the name to Ping.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Pong is slang for a bad smell in the UK. And so our distributor over there said, "You wouldn't want a game in a bar that said fart on it, would you?"
Maybe.
Maybe. But in Australia and the UK, we did it as Ping. But that's another story.
That's a good bit of
That is
trivia there.
great. All right. Thank you both very
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Brian
Okay.
Fargo will be back in a little bit.
I'll be back.
You are in the edge of the hot seat.
This way? I think the camera's... No, anyway, okay.
All right. We're back with Brian Fargo.
Oh, am I live?
You're live.
Okay.
All right. Brian Fargo in the hot seat.
I'm ready.
I'm going to jump right in here. So, Bryce Johnston on Facebook wants to know, over the past few years, many of the RPGs I've played have had largely forgettable NPCs. What do you think makes a character memorable? How will this be addressed in Wasteland 2?
Well, I think that, one of the ways we address NPCs is we like to have them do things in the game rather than just the writing style. I think that makes it a lot more interesting. I mean, I know everybody has fond memories of, I think, Angela Death when she empties her Uzi clip into the rat. And, that memory and the way that it affected gameplay and wasting ammo, that had a much more tangible sense of her personality than the kind of writing that we could have done. And I think from a writing perspective, I think that sometimes it's not real enough. I see a lot of writing where it's people are just sort of pontificating and not really writing as if they were real characters. So I think there's kind of between those two things, we should be able to really bring some pretty memorable characters. I mean, the Bard, we had a remake of Bard's Tale, and he had a tremendous amount of personality. And part of it's also understanding what the getting in the mind of what the player's thinking, and writing dialogue based upon being inside the head of what the person's thinking at the time. Because the best dialogue comes from when you think, I might have said that, right? Or you would have expected that character with that personality to say that. When they don't do those things, then kind of the fiction starts to break down.
Right on.
Okay?
All right, well, a lot of the fans, both on our live chat feed here and on the Facebook, they're pretty excited about the amount of coverage that the game has been getting. And
Yeah.
they really like the amount of updates that we've been giving to the fans through the Kickstarter. And they want to know, in addition to the 4+ developer videos that we've announced, if we've thought about how we're going to be communicating with the community going forward.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a lot of further communication. There's, I know there's one, like a German magazine, for example, that's going to be running articles every 60 days until launch, just on Wasteland 2. And there'll be other things we announce during the process. There's more excitement generated on this game than anything I've worked on in over a decade for sure. So I think there'll be constant coverage from the media. And then, in addition, we'll continue to do video updates. I mean, as again, people have really told us how much they love these things, and if they love them that much, then we'll do them, and we'll give a further insight into the development of the project. So we'll keep